Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rose Rumble here at 𝗙𝗺𝗺 tonight. A battle of wits of epic proportions. Tell us about it, Kelly.
Yeah, there's no holding back tonight. We have invited VIP members, thought seekers, and a whole lot of guests who are ready to hit them with some hard-hitting questions.
That's right, the verbal heavyweights themselves. Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary. We got some spicy questions from the crowd.
Doge, taking America to the top or taking us to the bottom?
Should Canada become the 51st state?
There's a lot of fat in government. They don't really give a shit about your money because they're only there for 4 years.
I'm not going to make fun of Kevin's hair.
Be very careful.
I've already been fucked over by Trump. He's about to be fucked over by him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rose Rumble at 𝗙𝗺𝗺.
Hey friends, Kelly Blanco here behind the scenes with the Anthony Scaramucci, who is ready.
Warming up in the locker room.
You are warming up. Careful, don't hit me. How are we feeling?
I feel great.
What's the strategy tonight?
I think the strategy is to listen. I think you got to listen. If you want to beat somebody and be verbally dexterous, you got to listen to what they're saying and then pop, 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 pop.
And how will you have the upper hand?
I got a lot of hair. Trust me, he knows it, I know it. It's a big event.
You're not wrong about that. And if we're taking this, we're taking our bets to Vegas. What are we doing here?
Look, the money's got to be on him. I think I'm the underdog.
Okay. You think you're the underdog? Mm-hmm. Okay, you've heard it here.
Expectations low.
The Mooch thinks he's the underdog. We shall have to wait and see what happens tonight. Hey friends, Kelly Blanco here once again backstage, but this time with Mr. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. Wow, you are looking pretty dapper, I gotta say.
I'm so excited to be here because this is such an important mission for me to crush the little cockroach. That's what Mooch is. A cacarocha.
A cacarocha. You have crushed many dreams in Shark Tank, but how will you crush the Mooch's dreams tonight?
You know, the thing about the Mooch is you've got to go after him with not just brawn, but brain.
People usually hit below the belt, but he is attacking above the neck tonight. He's talking about the hair game.
Listen, this is the Dome of Desire right here, okay? He wants to throw hair around. When I've got the Dome of Desire, he's going to get crushed already.
Dome of Desire?
Absolutely.
That's a new nickname.
Chicks dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Good luck.
All right. Get ready for l'élection.
There you have it, Mr. Wonderful, the Dome of Desire.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most sophisticated SmackDown in town. Live from the iconic 𝗙𝗺𝗺 this is the Rose Rumble! In this arena, an iron wit wins the day, where minds clash, egos tumble, and vocabulary gets vicious. Tonight's verbal showdown is proudly presented by 𝗙𝗺𝗺, where elegance meets sass and nobody gets physically hurt. This war of words is set for 8 rounds of razor-sharp tongues, with you being the judges at ringside, and your applause is the scorecard. And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, it's time to meet our first contestant and reigning champion in this ultimate battle of wits. A man who's made a career out of quick exits, but not tonight, he's staying put. From the fast-paced world of finance, the former communications director who was fired faster than you can say Kofifi. Please welcome the master of the one-liner, the Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci! now for our second contender, emerging from the shadows of the corporate battlefield, the man who takes no prisoners, the deal maker with an iron fist and a gold-plated wallet. He's the nightmare of bad business plans, the slayer of foolish financials, hailing from the land of profits and power, the one, the only Kevin Mr. Wonderful O'Leary! This is it, folks. Two masters of verbal warfare, each armed with nothing but their sharpest comebacks, wittiest barbs, and maybe a few slightly exaggerated facts. Who will come out on top in the battle of words? Let's find out. The stage is set. The microphones are hot. It's time for the Faina Rumble. In the red corner, standing tall with his hair slick as his investments, the Sultan of sound bites, the mouthpiece of Wall Street, Anthony Scaramucci! And in the white corner, weighing in with facts, no feelings, and business realities, the king of quips, the master of deflection, Kevin O'Leary!
Let's not forget the Dome of Desire.
Dome of Desire. And now introducing the keeper of calm, the lord of linguistic law, the guardian of grammar himself, the referee for tonight's intellectual extravaganza, Pablo 𝗕cies. Prepare yourselves, folks. It's about to get unbelievable. Let's get ready to rumble!
Gentlemen, I'm going to need your cooperation here tonight, please. Here's how this verbal smackdown is going to go.
He's a cockroach. He's a cockroach.
Please, gentlemen, please keep it cordial. We have not started yet. Please, mic's quiet. So remember, this is a war of wits, not a social media feud. With that said, a few things to remember. Number one, protect yourselves at all times. And what does that mean? That means keep your wits. Stop when I say stop. Please remember that. All right?
Why don't you look at him?
Please,
because of
if
last
I
time.
yell, cut the nonsense, you zip it. All right? This is a friendly fight. Gentlemen, touch gloves. All right? And let's keep it classy. All right? All right, let's start the bout. Round number one.
𝗕cie𝗵𝗵𝗰𝗀𝗀𝗆.
All right, gentlemen. Mooch, you're going to go first, all right? First question. There we go. Please state your name.
Mark Hernandez. My question is on crypto. Last month, we had the pleasure of hearing Michael Saylor speak and wax poetic on the benefits of Bitcoin. There's been a lot of discussion about Bitcoin as a store of value and a reserve currency for both corporations and governments. Senator Loomis has introduced a bill, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill, and I want to know if you think that bill is good for America and good for our economy.
And 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Mark, thank you. So the short answer is yes, I think the bill's good for our economy. I think David Sachs actually did something brilliant by delaying through executive action, a potential strategic Bitcoin reserve. Because if you listen to David Sachs, he wants a bipartisan commitment to something like that. And what he feared was if Donald Trump and his team did it on their own unilaterally, then if a Democrat got into power, they would potentially reverse it for no reason other than the partisanship. And so the next 6 months are mission critical for that bill. And I'll just say three quick things very quickly. Number one, we have 27 reserves. It's not just oil and gold. Kevin knows this because he's from Canada. There's a lot of trace minerals and there's a lot of important things in, well, it's still Canada, so we'll call it Canada. But I mean, we'll
be very careful.
We'll see what happens.
Don't mess with the primal forces.
We'll see what happens.
90 seconds.
But Kevin could be running for governor of Canada at some point. But I like it, and I want it to win, and I think it has to be bipartisan.
Mr. Wonderful.
Thank you. Just a quick fact check. Alberta, Canada has 5 times more oil and gas than the entire United States. So start sucking up right now. Now, Michael Saylor is talking his book, all right? The guy sells stock and pref shares and debt and then buys Bitcoin with it. The stock trades at twice the value of the inherent Bitcoin. That smells like something that ain't going to work long term. Just saying. I like the guy, but it has nothing to do with the strategic reserve of Bitcoin, which will never happen because we'll never get buy-off on a bipartisan basis. However, what will happen will be a stablecoin bill that will allow the American dollar to be digitized all around the world. USDC, of which I'm a shareholder, so I'm just disclosing, but there's others. We'll get a law that says if you can prove that you can take $1 trillion US and back them into a stablecoin like USDC or anything else, we can trade that all around the world. Because let me tell you something, every commodity on earth, including all those ones up in Canada, are traded in US dollars. And the cost of transferring US dollars from one country to another is prohibitive, and it's held by the banks. So Jamie Dimon never wants to see this happen because he sucks 2% out of you in fees. And so that's never gonna, if you did a USDC, it's 1 basis point of cost to move the US dollar around the world. So that's gonna happen. And I'm right about this, you just lost that one, Mooch.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Time it is. This is round 2, gentlemen. We're just getting started, and something tells me it's gonna get a lot more juicier.
Why did they pick such tall people to do the rounds? What do you think that's
amazing? Where's the one with the feathers? What happened to her?
She's coming.
She's on her way
coming back. All right. Where are we going? Here in the front row. Okay.
Hi, how are you? I'm Andrea Freeman. And Mooch, you touched on a subject that's really interesting. Sam Altman versus Elon Musk. Are we team Sam or team Elon?
Well, I'm team Elon on a lot of things. Even though I don't like certain processes that are taking place with Doge, I think he is the right guy to do it. We live in a democracy, so I would like a few more systems in place to check what he's doing. But I am team Elon on SpaceX, and I'm fully disclosed an owner of SpaceX, and I'm team Elon on Tesla and things like that. On this particular topic, Sam has the advantage now. Now, Elon's upset about that, and maybe there was something that happened where he doesn't deserve the advantage, but he has the advantage now. And so if you're a securities analyst or you're someone analyzing where things are going to go, there will be a moat starting to build, a very thick moat starting to build around Sam's business. And so I'll make a prediction. They will cut a deal with Elon. It'll be sort of a Greenmail-like deal. And so if there's people here in the 80s who remember what Greenmail is, Elon's putting forward a potential takeover. I think they'll settle with Elon for billions of dollars and get him on side on ChatGPT. That's my prediction.
Mr. Wonderful.
So I have to disclose something. My lovely wife Linda's here. Our son, thank you. And I say that because our son Trevor works for Elon at Tesla. And so we love Elon, obviously. And Trevor's done very well there, and I have a lot of respect for Elon. I'm going to say this quickly, but in life you're going to meet people, and I worked for Steve Jobs. He was about 80% signal, 10% noise, which means he was a very focused guy, not easy to work with, very unpopular, really nasty guy, but he really got it. Elon has no noise. He's 100% signal. He wastes 0 time in his day because he can't, but it does get him in a lot of trouble in different ways because he'll actually walk away from a conversation with you if he's wasting his time and he realizes that. He has 0 time to waste. There's never been a man like him. You just have to look at what he's achieved, and thank goodness he's doing Doge right now because he's going to save a shitload of money. That's good.
I agree.
With that said,
Oh, Feathers is back.
went in on this. All right.
My hair. What about my hair? What am I?
I'm obviously the only one that needed hairspray up here, but go ahead. Go ahead. What's the next question?
Anthony, you're not the only one with good hair, all right? All right, so this is round 3, I believe. Who are we going to? Please state your name.
Hello, Roman. You guys touched on this, and it's been on my mind. I don't know if it's been on other people's mind, but Doge, taking America to the top or taking us to the bottom?
Mooch.
Okay, so I just want to give a shout out to my wife, Deirdre, and our 11-year-old son, Nick, and our 10-year-old son, Nick, and our 7-year-old son, James, do not work for Elon Musk. I just want to make sure everybody knows. But I'm worried about Doge. I certainly, if you asked anybody in this room, is there fraud in the government potentially? Is there excess spending in the government? I think the obvious answer is yes. Do we want to cut that? We want to make the government more accountable to the American taxpayer? The answer is yes. But I'm telling you, we live in a democracy, and so you want to do this with a bipartisan commitment. And I'll give you an example from the 1990s. Bill Clinton started this process in 1993. Over the 8 years, he cut 351,000 federal jobs. He did it in a bipartisan way. He delayered the bureaucracy and saved about 3% of the budget per year, and it compounded out to the end of his term where we ran a $240 billion budget surplus. Last budget surplus for the United States was in the year 2000. So I am a pro-democracy person. Every single person in this country has benefited from our system, the decentralized nature of our system, and we've been protected by the fact that we don't have a unitary system or too much of an expansion of executive power. And so I'm personally worried about it, but I do like Doge, and I respect Elon, and I hope we can get some systems in place around it.
Yeah, so the natural attrition of the federal government is almost 200,000 people a year anyways, so that was a nothing achievement by getting...
That was a net number.
Okay, nice. But the point is, in democracy, and it's a dirty little secret, there's a lot of fat in government. It drips like a chicken with fat. All these stupid programs that you're hearing about now have been built up over decades by various governments, and it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat or Independent, there's fat on the bone. And this is the first time someone independently has gone in there and said, let's go discover the fat. He does not have executional control. He's simply pointing it out. He has his own network of billions of people called X, formerly Twitter, and saying, look what I found here, look what I found here, look what I found here. Even if he's wrong 20% of the time, that's 80% right. And everybody should realize the government is really inefficient because they don't really give a shit about your money because they're only there for 4 years. So this is a good thing, and great stuff will happen from it. He will embarrass these agencies into either closing themselves down or figuring out a way to stop wasting this money. It's your money. It's your money. Your money.
Excellent. All right, next question. Here we go. State your name.
Hi, I'm Alex. What do you think is going to be the future of TikTok, and what will ultimately happen to it? Bonus question for you, Mr. Wonderful. why do you wear 2 watches?
Obviously, we have to start that one with Mr. Wonderful. Please, 90 seconds.
I love horology. I like to support young watchmakers. It's the same way as collecting paintings. I have many piece uniques now. I don't buy production watches anymore. I only do one-of-a-kinds. This is a one-of-a-kind watch. This happens to be a Rolex. This is Dubai time. This is Florida time. Men in the 30s wore 2 watches. They didn't have 2 time zones. So I'm going to wear 4. There'll be 2 on my ankles soon. I have a lot of watches. TikTok is unique. This is going to be like the Apple deal. We're going to find a way to work it out. The algorithm is, as Mooch said, it rips data. That's not okay. So we're going to have to think about it as lentil soup. Pull the packets of information, the people's information, to the top of the soup, separated from the broth, which is all the algorithmic work that lets you really love that product. And the key to this deal may be a guy named Yi-Ming, who owns 24% of ByteDance. What people don't understand is ByteDance is basically a $400 billion company, of which only 8% is TikTok US. So they don't care if it shuts down. But I think in this cooperation mood that started last night in Dubai with Apple and the CPP party agreeing to share tech, this is a huge opportunity for TikTok. Frank McCourt and I have worked on this deal for almost 6 months, and I think we're going to get it.
Time.
I want Kevin to make a lot of money, and I actually want him to be right, but I'm telling you, he's going to 100% wrong on this. The Chinese government is never, ever giving up anything related to TikTok. They're not going to team up with the US on this. It's a different thing with Apple. And remember, the Apple phones the stuff is being installed in China. Okay, remember something about the Chinese, okay? They believe in asymmetrical activity in the United States. They can be here. They actually have police stations here. Some of you know that in our cities, where they have the Communist Party in our cities policing some of their own citizens. They've got spies here, and they will never, and I mean never, ever give up that algorithm. And I just want to point out to everybody here, that algorithm is so manipulative. 30% of the men between 18 and 31, excuse me, let me rephrase that. White men between 18 and 30 have a 30% more likelihood to commit suicide than any other demography. 31% of the people that are watching TikTok think that we faked the moon landing. So this is something that we need to stop. Trump knows this, and so does Tom Cotton.
Fantastic. All right. Where are we going? Let's go right here to the front row. Please state your name.
Gentlemen, I'm 𝗵𝗺𝗃. And we're getting into the later rounds now, so enough rope-a-doping. Let's get an actual knockout here, okay? Yeah. All right. This will hit for both of you, because we know how much both of you like to have power.
Does knocking out Pablo count or no?
Yeah, maybe.
I always survive.
So we know both of you like to have power. If you had absolute power for 24 hours, no consequences whatsoever, what is the most scandalous thing you both would do that would either make you a hero forever or canceled?
We're going to go with Kevin first. Kevin.
Wow. Okay. I would negotiate the deal with Canada. I would do that deal. I would do that deal because I believe in a giant economic union, a behemoth economy, and I've taken a lot of shit for this in Canada because I took Danielle Smith down to meet Trump, which is what I believe is why she only got a 10% tariff, not 25, because she had the guts to go and meet with him. But I think the future against the Chinese economy is to create a behemoth economy with the power that Canada has and all the natural resources and the giant, large, mega U.S. economy. You don't have to sell sovereignty, but you have to do something like they did in Europe. And you create a uni-passport and a common currency and no tariffs whatsoever, and you tell everybody around the world, don't fuck with us. That's what I think.
Anthony the Mooch.
It's a little more subtle, but very impactful. I would change the Constitution. There are 27 amendments to this Constitution. We have not had an amendment of any meaning since the 1965 Civil Rights Voting Act. We had a 93 amendment that was procedural. 2 amendments. Number 1, I would end Citizens United. People understand what that is. As money has poured into the system. We've created an oligarchy on both sides, not just one side. And then the second thing I would do is I would end gerrymandering. And so I would just submit to you, I would like you to think about this. We're in a supposed democracy, but the candidates are picking the voters. The voters are not picking the candidates. And we need to make it look like the geometric shapes that we all would recognize from 9th grade geometry, not the current jigsaw puzzle situation that we have right now. So 2 constitutional amendments, and then you can cancel me. No problem.
Done. Fantastic answers. Next round. All right, here we go. Where are we going to next?
Hello, good evening.
State your name, please.
I'm 𝗵𝗵𝗃. Nice to see you both. I know we have some Canadians in the ring. We probably have Canadians in the house as well, maybe? No. All right. Should Canada become the 51st state of the Union? And what are the pros and cons for that, please?
Wow.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, I think you should go second. Mooch first.
Me first.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, Canada should not become the 51st state of the Union. The North American continent has done way better than the South American continent. And there's a great book about this by a guy named David Landis. It's called The Wealth and Poverty of Nations. Why did the North American continent do so much better than South America, where they have the same resources, the same coastlines roughly, the same amount of minerals and oil? It has to do with our legal system, and it has to do with the integrity of a democracy. And if the Canadian people want to be independent, and I believe they do, if you look at the polling, they certainly do, we should leave it like that. We should work with them. Kevin brought up something about an economic protectorate, which I certainly agree with, but I think most Canadians want to have their own national identity, and I don't think the United States should go back to 18th century imperialism and force something on the Canadians that they themselves don't want. It's just it's a recipe for disaster.
Mr. Canada?
Well, I think we're at a unique time in history. Canada, unfortunately, has been ruled for the last 9 years by an idiot king. And his policies destroyed the wealth of Canadians, from parity on the dollar to the U.S., down 41%. They can't even go to Disneyland anymore. And the idiot king is still there. There's going to be an election in the next 90 days. I begged Trump to wait. It didn't happen. But the idea was to wait until a mandate was secured by a new leader. It looks like it'll be a guy named 𝗕cie𝗵𝗵𝗰, and then he could negotiate with his peer. There is 13% of Canadians are willing to consider giving up their citizenship, become Americans. That's not enough to do that. But 43% want to explore some kind of an economic union. And to me, it could get to way past 50%. If you ask Canadians tonight, 11 out of 10 would rather change their Trudeau pesos into American dollars like that, because it's been destroyed by the idiot king. And so the key here is, what can we do together that makes us both better? Instead of fighting about the 49th parallel, let's worry about the Chinese cruising around in the north, where they're digging out minerals up there, and the Russians. And let's spend 2%. Canadians have not done that yet. The new leadership will probably say, look, to solve all this tariff warfare, we'll go to 2% on NATO, and let's get NORAD back up and running to show the Chinese there's no way they can come from the north, or the Russians. Russians, I don't really care about that much. That's a tiny economy, smaller than Italy. But the Chinese, you don't want to mess with those guys. And we got to protect ourselves.
That's time. I have to tell you, Canadians not being able to afford Disneyland is a travesty. All right, where are we going to go to next?
Dan Turrentine, what do you guys think of all the tariffs that are being proposed on friend and foe alike? Are they going to be good for us?
Mooch, you're up.
No, they're not going to be good for us. They're tax increases, what they are. They're consumption-based taxes, and they're not going to be good for us. And the way the president sells them to people is very misguided. He makes people believe that the countries are getting charged the tariffs, but they're not. And the other thing that happens, and I think Kevin knows this, you get a lot of gaming in the system. And so you put the tariffs on China, they manufacture 49% of the good, they ship it to Vietnam, they complete it in Vietnam with their own people, and then they ship it to the United States unfettered by the tariffs. And so we would be better off with a fairer, cleaner system. One last thing is very important for people to understand. The countries were made uneven by design. We were trying to raise living standards around the world. And if you raise living standards around the world, you get greater peace and you get greater prosperity. You can study any level of diplomacy to understand that. And that's the reason why these tariffs in certain cases were asymmetrical. So people seem tired about it. Some people are shaking their heads. They disagree with me. But I'm telling you, the world looks at America very differently than Americans look at America. And they look at us as a beacon of hope. And they look at us as a symbol of help. And I don't think we want to change that. Okay, that's my honest opinion.
Mr. Wonderful.
So this is a Trump question. And so everybody in this room has been listening to Trump for 12 plus years. And if by now you haven't figured out how to distinguish the noise from the signal, you never will. These tariffs are noise. They're negotiating tactics. From the Canadians to the Mexicans to today, a few hours ago with the Indians, he slammed on reciprocal tariffs on everything they do. They have tariffs up to 24%. It's the beginning of a negotiation. That's what it is. Each country's a different story. So India, it's cars. Germany, it's car parts. Canada, it's resources. Mexico, it's illegal immigration. This guy is doing what he knows best, to negotiate. You may not like his style. You didn't like it 12 years ago. You're not going to like it now. But he has been elected President of the United States with a majority mandate for at least the next 2 years. Get over it and get used to it. And he's going to continue to do this. And it's a great opportunity to solve a lot of problems. These tariffs will never, ever be put in place long term. Never.
All right, kids, we are in the home stretch. Is everyone having fun? Woo! All right, we're going to go back here. Please state your name.
Tom Pence. So you both already have your gloves.
Tom Pence?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank
Noted.
You both already have your gloves off. So I'd like you to both think of one brutally honest
You related
roast
to
joke.
Mike?
You know it.
I know.
We're both
we
persona
had dinner,
non grata.
we had dinner together, didn't we?
Yeah, we had dinner
we did.
together. You're right.
At the
Yeah,
Naval
you remember that.
Observatory, right?
Remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So you both get one brutally honest roast joke. You've known each other for a long time. So give each other one brutally honest roast joke. Make it really nasty. But the only Marcus de Queensberry rule for you, Mr. Fabulous, is you cannot use any of Trump's material against Mooch.
I'm not
Fair
sure.
enough.
What is this? Like, what are we supposed to do?
He wants you to roast me.
You know, here's the thing. I've known Mooch for too long. The truth is, I have
My
a lot
wife laughed at that the hardest.
No, I know, but I mean,
That was
we've
bad for
been
me.
working financial services since we were, 4 years old. And so we've run into each other forever. If I didn't like this guy, I wouldn't be here with him right now.
Sweating in like polyester robes.
Yeah,
This is silk.
It's very
I
hard
guarantee
for
you.
me. Listen, I'm loving this. I'm having a great time doing it, but I have a lot of respect for him. And I love the fact that he got his friggin' ass kicked in the White House. Do you know they call his period there one Scaramucci time period? It was 10 days, right?
It was 11. Even when Trump shits on me on Twitter,
so
it's 11.
Yep. One Scaramucci
Trump should be the official scorer.
11 days. And so physicists all around the world now say it's a third of a Scaramucci. And all the students say, yes, it's a third of a Scaramucci. It is a time period of extreme shortness.
That was pretty good.
Mooch, feel free to respond.
Pretty good. I'm not going to make fun of Kevin's hair. I'm not going to make fun of Kevin's height. But I am going to pick on Kevin's. I am going to pick on Kevin's judgment. Okay, and he shares two people in common with me. Okay, one is Sam Bankman-Fried.
Well, he fucked you more than me.
No, he fucked you equally to me, possibly more. And the other one is Donald Trump. And I've already been fucked over by Trump. He's about to be fucked over by him.
Oh, that's so
You know
nasty.
what I'm talking about, Mr. Pence. You know what I'm talking about.
That's time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached that point of the evening where, after the verbal showdown for the ages, after arguments sharper than a hedge fund short sell, and after jabs, this all comes down to you, each and every one of you, to decide the winner tonight, whether the champ will retain his title or whether the challenger will be the new champion. With that said, please, very important, we need all your participation this evening. If you think the contender, Kevin, Mr. Wonderful O'Leary, just closed the biggest deal of the night, let me hear you. Let's go. That was impressive. Now, if you believe the current champion, Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci, talk the talk and walk the walk, let me hear some noise. I'm hearing from the applause meter upstairs that it is a very, very close race. We are going to go for the second time to a runoff. Again, we need your participation one last time. If you believe the challenger, Kevin, Mr. Wonderful O'Leary, please, let's hear your applause. All right, and if you believe the current champion, Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci is the winner, let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time where it gives me great pleasure, gentlemen, to announce the winner of the second Vienna Rose Rumble and the new champion, Mr. Wonderful.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, those words were sharper than a Wall Street deal gone wrong. Nicely done. Congratulations, Mr. Wonderful. This belt isn't just about winning.
Thank you so much.
It's a symbol of dominance, of wit. You'll never have to pay for another drink whenever you see Anthony again.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
He never has.
You know, tonight, democracy won.
Okay, let's talk first. Mr. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, you just dominated that debate like a Wall Street shark at a garage sale. What's your victory speech? Did you have something prepared for us?
Well,
and
listen,
who do you want to thank first or roast first?
No, I'm so honored because I really felt capitalism, democracy, and the light won. You know, I love Mooch, but I've got so much to teach him, and we're starting tonight.
Also, be honest. At any point, did you think that your opponent actually had a good argument, or are you just waiting for him
He said
to?
a couple of interesting things, which he tends to do, but in the long run, it's really what matters. Can you convince him? And you know what? My number one thing is going to do is I'm going to take him to Mar-a-Lago to make it right with Trump.
And
He's
now,
coming back with me.
And now that you have won, what will you do with your newfound power? And should we all be concerned?
This is going to be great. I'm going to take it out for dinner tonight. I'm going to walk around the restaurant, strut like a peacock, like this. I mean, that's what you do. You know, you get a belt like this. This is an honor. And of course, I'll never give this belt up. I will crush him next year, and the year after that, and the year after that.
Well, maybe I'll have a different challenger next year.
Maybe, because I think, you know, it could happen.
All
Maybe it would be
right.
Kellyanne Conway.
Well, if I was going to lose to anybody, I'm glad I lost to you, Kevin O'Leary.
I appreciate that.
As opposed to Kellyanne Conway.
I feel the love.
By the way, I love this belt. I'm taking it to bed tonight.
It is absolutely beautiful. If you could rewrite history and change one of your arguments, would you change any of those arguments that you just made? Any of the points that you made?
Now that I know that I've lost, I probably would have been more critical of Kevin during that roasting question.
Anyways, it's history now. It's in the books. This probably ends up in the Smithsonian.
He is the Jalen Hurts of this debate. Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our contestants! What a match! Wow, Kelly, what'd you think of that?
No, we got to hit the showers.
That was so much fun. You got to hit what?
Got to hit the showers.
It's hot up here. It's hot.
All right, Kelly, that was amazing. What a fight that was. Thank you, gentlemen. What did you think? What did you,
You know what? Head to head the entire time. I really was engaged. I was very interested in all their answers. They all made great points. And it was very close, as we saw.
Will there be a rematch? Is Mooch just going to go on Twitter now and say he was robbed?
I don't know, but I want to start wearing 2 watches now.
Thank you so much for joining us. The Rose Rumble at 𝗙𝗺𝗃𝗺